everyone and welcome to my Flosstube channel, Coco Creates. So this is my 53rd video and here is Coco. So who's looking a bit sulky today because despite it being June, it's been raining all morning. So she's just been sitting at the door like waiting for the rain to stop so she can go outside. So yes, it's a sad day for Coco, but hopefully the weather's doing a bit nicer where you are. But yes, my Flosstube channel. So I'm Zoe and this is Coco. Not sure if I already said that. But this is my sort of May recap, May update. Hopefully this isn't a very long video because I actually didn't do much stitching in May. But we'll get to that in a minute. So, right, I'm going to pop you down. There you go. Let's get my trusty books out. So this month seemed to disappear quite quick. So I was away for a few days, sort of in the middle of May. I didn't really get as much stitching done that week that I thought. So I took stitching to do and I was umming and ahhing. I was like, well, what do I take? I want to take something that has enough like for me to work on that, you know, if I finish whatever my goal was, I could keep working on it. And I didn't even make it halfway towards the goal I'd had, so I don't know what all that stress was about because I barely stitched anything while I was away. I think I stitched the first couple of days for an hour or two, and then that was it for the rest of the week. Then there was no more stitching, but I will pop some pictures in. So we went to Woburn, so which is the centre parks at Woburn and Woburn Zoo, which is a safari park as well. So while we were down there, so I've got a few photos, but I will put those in at the end of sort of some of the things we saw and the animals and different bits and bobs like that. But stitching, I forgot to write in when I normally put a little sticker in my journal, stitching journal, of when I actually record the video, so that I know, you know, if I'm a few days into the month, like that I've already done that. But I think I'd already shown you my, yes, because it's not on that list. So yes, I'd already shown you my cat piece that I'd started for my Flosstube anniversary. So I didn't do any further work on that after I showed you. So it's still just the tippy top of a head and like part of an eye, I think was where I'd got to. So I think I recorded the video after that. So that's what we're going to go with. So the first thing I picked up was my Whip Go pieces. So this month's rolls were for my Animal Kingdom and my 3 baby dragons. So the first one I picked up was my Animal Kingdom. And this is the Supersize Max Colour version of Amy Stewart's Amazing Animal Kingdom. And that is that there. And I'm starting in this bottom left corner here and working in 20 stitch diagonals, sort of going in this direction. And I don't know if you can tell, there's two little stickers on here because when I went through and worked out how many colours I hadn't used on this piece, and there was only, what was it, 7 or 8 or something, I put a little sticker on each of those bobbins so that when I actually got them out to use, I could take the sticker off so I could see when I'd use them, and just so I could tell, you know, how far through the project I had to be when I'd used all of the colours, rather than having to go through that list again and work out what there was. But yes, I've used 2 out of those colours already, so I think we're down to 5 now. 5 colours left to use, pull out. But I think they were, one was a really bright blue, which sort of was in this sky piece here. So this is roughly where that diagonal's coming. And one was like an orangey yellow that was up at this top here. But yes, so we're getting there with our colours. So this piece is too heavy for me to lift up and show you, so I will be putting photos in of where it was and then where it is now. Or at least trying to put photos in, because it didn't occur to me till I took a picture earlier of it that because I'm working in the diagonal, and I'm on a scroll frame, as I have to scroll it up as I'm working down the diagonal and then scroll it back the other way. So every time I take a picture, I'm only taking a picture of like a little sliver of it. So I'm hoping I have a previously photo to show you. So I suppose you'll see whether I've shown it or not. But anyway, most of my work got done quite fast on this because I did, I try and split my WhipGo goal. So my WhipGo board is set at 4,000 stitches per square, that's called. And then I try and split that in half and do 2,000 stitches on each one per week for 4 weeks of the month, you know, which then gives me the 4. But actually in the first 4 days of the month, I managed to do 3,000 stitches on this one. So I did quite a lot in those few days, which was good because towards the end of the month I wasn't too well. So, but yes, so my first cold brew coffee of the year. So I finally got my cold brew jug out, which to be fair is it's basically, I should have brought it in here, but it's sat in the kitchen. It's basically just a jug. It looks a bit like a cafetiere, but inside is a like a fine mesh filter, like tube, and you put your coffee inside that tube, and then obviously fill the jug up with water, and then you whack that in the fridge for. I normally leave mine for at least overnight. It's normally 12 to 24 hours. But you can just use like a regular cafetiere. So sometimes because the mesh on a regular cafetiere isn't quite as fine, so you might find you get a little bit of like the coffee grounds sort of still will come through and they'll end up in the bottom, but it works just as well. Like you don't have to have a cold brew thing. I just happen to have one that I use because I do cold brew quite a lot in the summer. But yeah, I don't even know where I got this one from, so it's that old. But yeah, and just in case anyone wants to know, I do I use about 50 grams of coffee, but I don't know exactly how much water the jug takes. I think it's about 500 ml of water, so I do like a 1:10 ratio. You can use more or less coffee if you want it stronger or weaker. Anyway, there we go. Back to the point. Back to the cross stitch. So then I got my Christmas piece out. So after working on that for the week, I went on to my Red Christmas. So I'm doing the green version of this one. So this is a Jardin Privé kit, chart, not kit, here. And yeah, I'm doing the green one, which is pictured on the back, and it does tell you which colours to use. Am I organised on this? No. Set the pattern off. And here is where I managed to get to. So the page ends here. So this was the page I was hoping to finish. And yeah, it ends just down here, sort of right through there. I still have a couple of motifs here and this border to finish up here. I really didn't get much done on this one. This is one that I took on holiday, so I did about 400 stitches while I was on holiday. And then when I came back, I just put my notebook down. Yeah, so all in all I did 2,067 stitches on this. So I worked on it for another 1, 2, 3, 4 days when I came back. So the bulk of the stitching is in this border up here. But yeah, so still haven't finished that page. So this month it's going to be a bit of a challenge to try and get obviously this page finished and then the next page. So because the border seems to be the bulk, where the bulk of the stitching is, I'm thinking next month the page I might go on to is this. So this piece is divided into 6 pages. So I've done sort of this middle page, both pieces of this middle one, but I might actually come over and just try and do this piece here because this page won't have any border in, and I'm thinking there's going to be a lot less stitching there, which will give me time to then finish, you know, this page up at the top. But yeah, that's the theory anyway. So that's where I'm going to go, because that's the only page I think I've got left that's not going to have any border in it. It'll be inside and half it's going to have border. So that's going to be my only page left with no border on. So I think I'm going to have to do that one next month so that I can get both pages finished. I say next month, this month, because we're already in June. We just started June. But anyway, that's my plan for, oh, put that back on there, for June with that one, because I didn't get much done. So, and then my last whip that I worked on was my other Whip Go piece, which is my 3 baby dragons. This is a Shinysuns designs. Chart was the design was Misty Woodkey, and it's a Shinysuns chart. They only do paper copies, so I've scanned this in and I'm working off Markup XP, which is really struggling with this chart. Partly because the symbols used on the chart were most definitely not the best symbols that could have been chosen. I have mentioned it before, but this chart has only 25 colours. As you can see, it's grayscale, so the majority of it are just the greys, you know, 317, 415, and then there's a few other kind of greyish colours in there as well. But like I said, there's not many colours, there's 25 different colours, and 5 of the symbols are basically straight lines. So you've got the sort of parenthesis, so the open bracket, the closed bracket, the number 1, a forward slash, and I think a backslash as well. So the markup software is struggling to pick up the differences between all of those symbols. There's also like a single dot and then a 2 dot symbol. You've got your forward slash, there's also a divide, so which is the diagonal line with 2 extra dots. So I think it's partly the chart that's causing the problems, but also partly I just really struggle with the markup software. It's very clunky. So I'm trying to get this one finished as soon as possible so that I don't have to use markup anymore, basically. But anyway, enough rambling, let's show you what I've worked on. So hopefully I've added in a picture of where this was, but here is where it is now. So let me fold that in half. But yeah, come down this stripe, I did do her eye because that was just a black blob, so I did come out and do that. I finished off this part of the book, so this is sort of this shadow under the book, so I'm starting in this corner and working diagonal this way. So yeah, this is that shadow there that I had started last month, and I kind of just finished off that there, and then coming down to work on. So I have already started this month's work. I think I've done 700-ish, 900 stitches so far towards this month's work, because this is called for Whip Go June as well. But yeah, we're getting there slowly. Let's see. This one has had the most progress for the year, sort of statistically wise anyway. So where I started the year off, I wrote all my numbers down. I was organised. See, I did all my maths first. So where I started the year was on less than 10%. So I was on 9.6%. With just shy of 8,000 stitches done, whereas now I'm at I'm 50 shy of 20,000, so I'm at 19,951 stitches so far, which is 24.35%. So we're almost a quarter of the way. This is about the halfway mark for the chart, and then this is about the halfway mark horizontally. So I mean, this is the full fabric. I can't remember if I centered it don't think I think I centred it uppy downy because there's a bit less gap, but I don't know if I centred it sort of lefty righty uppy downy, you know, horizontally. I think because I knew I had sort of 6 inches extra fabric or whatever, or 8 inches extra, I just started like 3 inches in and was like, yeah, that'll do. But yeah, but we're getting there on this one. Like I said at the start, my Whip Go goals were to do 4,000 stitches on each piece. However, I'm really struggling with this piece. Just working with the aid of the force of pushing the needle through is a struggle for me. And despite me, you know, boiling the hell out of it, it's a lot better than it was. But it's still hard. It's still hard work. So I do have to wear these splints when I'm stitching now. Sometimes I have to even put my gloves on, which offer more support, because the force of the pincer grip of me holding the needle keeps dislocating this thumb. Now with this splint on, it does kind of stop it a little bit, but I still get the feeling and the pain that shoots down my arm every time it goes to pop out. It obviously can't pop anywhere, but it still makes the move to do that, so I still get the shooting pain that sort of runs up here. Now with the gloves give me wrist support, so they help a little bit with that, but because they give me so much support, they limit my movement. So it's always a catch-22 when I put them on, because it's kind of, well, I can do this but I can't do that, and which one's better, sort of thing. So because of that, I sat down and I had a look at all my figures and my numbers and thought, well, why had I picked 4,000? You know, how many stitches was that going to work out to be? And I went back to my original maths that I'd written down and said that I'd done 8 squares on my Wipopoly board at 4,000 stitches each, which would have been 32,000. Now this piece has 81,920 stitches in, so we'll just say 82,000 for you know, for now. So it was going to give me 32 out of the 82, plus the kind of 8 I'd already done, which would have put me at 40,000, which was almost halfway. In fact, it was going to be 48.7%. But I thought, well, what if? So I think I'd just got to about my 3,000. I'd got to 2,924 stitches. And I thought, well, what if instead of trying to do 4,000 on this, I only tried to do 3,000? I thought, let's see where that would leave me at the end of the year, progress-wise, and see, you know, how far away from that goal would I be. So I ran all the numbers. I have worked on it 2 months already, so I'd already done 2 lots of 4, and then this month would have been my first lot of 3. So 2 lots at 4,000, 6 lots at 3,000. Basically gave me 20, what was it, 26 overall, so 26,000 overall. Doing all the maths again, that led me to 41.41%. So I'm still more than 40%. So I thought, you know what, 40% at the end of the year, that is an acceptable goal. I would be happy to end the year on 40. So that's what I'm doing going forward. So this month I did my 3,000 almost, but you know, close enough that I've called my 3,000. And going forward, each square for just this project is only going to be 3,000 stitches. My bath time and my Animal Kingdom are both going to be the 4,000 stitches, because they're both on even weave, and it's a lot comfier to stitch. It's a lot easier to stitch. I can stitch more in a day. I mean, you know, even looking at last month, one day I did 929 stitches in one day on my Animal Kingdom, and yesterday I did 50 on this. You know, I mean, that's an extreme. Like, I normally do more than 50, but it was really painful yesterday, and I started stitching and I thought, you know what, I can't do this. You know, it's too much today. So I had to put it down. But yeah. So, new goal going forward, because I wrote the rules and I can break them. So yeah, we're just dropping that to 3,000. So this will be pulled for June, or this has been pulled for June. So I have worked, like I said, about 900. I haven't really added it up because I don't tend to add up until the end of the month. So I did 750 to 300 and then another 50, so it's that 1100-ish. So yeah, I've already done 1100 on it. So I need another 1900 on this one. And then my bath time is coming out again for June. So, which would, I think I'd just got up to, so again, I'm working her in diagonals, 20 stitch diagonals. So I forgot to mention this one I'm only doing in 10 stitch diagonals, because of all the sort of the difficulty with the charting, and when I highlight a symbol on markup, I'm having to go in and like correct the symbol as I go, and it's just easier to do it in a smaller block than try and do a whole chunk all at once. So that's why that one's only been done in 10 stitch stripes. But anyway, the Bath Time and Animal Kingdom are both 20 stitch diagonals. My bath time was started at the top left and working down. So I've, at the minute, because the bath that she's in had a massive block of colour that I took the liberty of doing last year, that big block, I now have it separated into kind of like above the bath and below the bath in my diagonals. So I've done my below the bath part of the stitch. So I believe I'm going back up to, above the bath again, which is the slightly more confetti heavy side, because it's the background, it's like the wallpaper behind, which is slightly decorative, and her tail, which is lots of colour changes in there as well. So, but we're coming down. I think we've almost made it to the third corner. So I've obviously coming in, I haven't got the actual picture of it, but coming in on the diagonal, it's portrait shape. So as I've come in, I've sort of already hit this corner, so we're coming down, and I'm almost at this corner. I think it's not quite on the next stripe, so we're on our way up, and I don't think I'm going to hit it on the next one down, but I think when I then go to come up again, I think that one's just going to hit this bottom corner. So we'll have found out our final corner there. But yes, so nice and close on that one. And so they're both my Whip Go goals for this month, plus my Christmas piece. So I want to get, I do want to stay on top of that one. If I get one piece finished, in this year, I want it to be that one. Finishing May's section and then June's section as well. And then my greenhouse. So I didn't get to pick my greenhouse up this month. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked too far ahead, so I don't know. I think there's about, is it 900? You know what, I should have lit this one up here. Please hold. Let's have a look. Right, yes, there's 920 stitches in this next section for the greenhouse, but I haven't uploaded June's section in today yet, so I don't know how big that one is as well. If it's a bit smaller, I might get it done, but I'll have to see obviously how long it takes me to get through all of those other bits and what I've got left at the end of the month, sort of time wise, whether I decide to add that bit in as well, or sort of get out my Wobbly board and pick something else to work on. But yeah, I am finding that these goals are taking up so much more of my time that I'm not getting to my Wobbly board very often, which is a shame, because that means I'm not working on anything else apart from like these 4 pieces. But then it's kind of, I don't want to not make progress on these pieces by going on to my Wobbly instead. So yeah, it's definitely a difficult conundrum to be in, especially sort of going forward to next year. It's definitely going to be something I look at that I think, well, okay, that was, I was sort of setting myself too many goals for the month, and also because I know the Bake Off is going to be coming up soon, and I had been thinking about doing the sort of Bake Off stitching as well. But I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I've got room in my, you know, my week to add more projects to work on. Like, and it would be nice to have that extra space at the end of the month to then do, you know, start doing sort of the Bake Off challenge, or sort of some of the alphabet challenges and monthly stitch alongs, you know, the other little bits. But I don't have room for that at the minute, and I hadn't thought about that, I think, when I was setting my goals up at the start of the year. So I mean, I do, oh, hiccup, obviously the end of, another hiccup, the end of June I will be doing my sort of 6-month recap, and then going forward. But yeah, it's sort of trying to think, well, if I want to add other things in, what am I going to drop? Because I don't have space to add other things in, so I have to get rid of something. So what do I want to not do instead? And yeah, I'm not sure, you know, like so this, my dragons piece, I want to get that finished because I don't want to have to keep paying for markup when that's the only project that I need it for. My Animal Kingdom piece, I want to get the progress done on that piece because it's such a big piece, and the more I fall behind on it, the longer and longer it's going to take. At the minute, I'd already budgeted 20 years for that, and I think I'm already 2 years behind. I've been working on it for 5 years. This is my 6th year of working on it. So yeah, I should be doing my 25 to 30% section this year, and as of the minute I'm on 17.6, so I'm at least two years behind on that. And as something that I'd already budgeted for me to take 20 years, if every 5 years I'm going to be 2 extra years behind, I'm adding, it's now going to take me like 30 years to do. So, you know, I'll probably get it done. I don't want to have that piece like still be stitching on that in 30 years time, like trying to get it finished. So, you know, I don't want to not work on that because I want to get it finished. My bath time, I suppose, is the only bit I would be happier to slow down on, but you know, that doesn't take up that much space. Sort of that one project, I think that was the project that had the least sort of squares on my whipgo board as well, so it already wasn't taking up that much space. Yeah, it's just sort of trying to think, what would I be happy to drop in favour of something else. But yeah, so that's my conundrum for this month. That'll be what I'm thinking about for the rest of this month until my June week, my 6-month recap. Shout outs. So these are a couple of new people I found that have quite new channels. Not necessarily small channels, but they are new. That I wanted to shout out. So Pam has just started. Pam is Scottish, and her channel is Ditsy Daisy Crafts. Like I said, she's very new. I think she's done 3 videos now. But in her second video, she's shows off some of her Easter finishes, and all of her finishes are done sort of really different. So she's done some in frames, but then she's done some in hoops and made some in cushions, and sort of added some bows and all different bits. So lots of different types of finishes. And what else did she took one frame for one of the finishes. It was like almost like, I don't know, a bubbly wavy frame. If you go on the video, you'll see it. But the colour didn't match. So what she did is she took some scrapbook paper and cut out to match the frame, and literally just glued the scrapbook paper straight onto the wooden frame to make the frame decorative, and then it matched the cross stitch. So yeah, I've never thought of doing that before. You know, I've always looked for a specific frame that would match, and like different colours of frames. I'm like, I could just buy a frame and then change it myself. But yes, so head over and watch her channel. And then there's also Joshua, who is cross stitching Cambria, and he's only done I think he's only just started on Flosstube as well. He's done 2 videos, but I found him on Instagram. As I was sort of scrolling around on Instagram, and mentioned that he had a YouTube channel, so YouTuber. So I came through, and yeah, you need to go and have a look at his recent video. So he's number 2, and I think he also did a short with it on as well. But he's got like a purpley blue dragon that he's done on black fabric, and that is so pretty. It's almost like a aurora colours, you know, the purples, the blues, the pinks. But yes, very pretty. So, and I believe he is talking about he entered into the fair, I think he said. So yes, I need to finish watching his video. But yes, so go and head and watch them as well. And actually, I have tried to. I don't really know how it works, but if it works, great. If it doesn't, then please just ignore this bit. But I tend to add people to playlists on YouTube, so I make playlists and then have everyone added in that I'm watching all their videos. And then it occurred to me that you can put a playlist as public. So I've got one. So I've made it public then. It's just called like shout outs. So basically the people that I'm shouting out in my video, I'm going to add their recent one or one of their videos onto that playlist. So you can just go and you can see sort of all the new people, mainly that I'm shouting out, but obviously you'll eventually be able to sort of scroll through and see past videos as well. So if you're ever looking for someone new, you can go and have a look and sort of scroll back through some of their videos to find new people. So yes. So it may, whether I'm hoping how it appears would be like the people that I had most recently would also be at the top of the list. So then it would make sense then if you watched my recent video and then went straight on there, the people that I just shouted out would be at the top. In my head, that's how it should work. I don't know if YouTube is going to work like I think it should, but hopefully it will, and hopefully you can see that. And then it's an easier way to find people like that. So that's what I'm going to do. So yes, that's all the stitching done. I do have a quick life update that I'll get to in a sec. Look at this video is a bit shorter, which is good because my previous video, which was my 5-year Flosstube celebration, was a long one. So if you haven't been seeing that one, pop back on and go and have a look. So there are some giveaways on there. I've done 5 giveaways for my 5-year anniversary. So go check that out, and remember to comment on that video. Don't comment here for it because I won't see it, so comment on that one. For the giveaways. I will be joining that at the end of June, so you've got the rest of this month to go and have a look at that one. But yes, life update. So part of the reason I didn't get that much stitching done is I started new medication this month, which was great, but it didn't really do the thing that the medication was supposed to do, and also the side effects from it were horrendous. So since I had the well, we've now managed to determine that it was a mini stroke. So since I had the mini stroke back last Halloween, my blood pressure's been really high for like no reason. So I've been to see a cardiologist who sort of did an echo of my heart, and sort of I did you know, a few of the tests, tried some different medications, and he said, well, there's nothing structurally wrong with your heart, so it's not your heart that's causing the increase of blood pressure. So they sort of discharged me from there because apparently the NHS only covers me to have 2 appointments and 1 test, and I had 2 appointments and 1 test. So yeah, he's discharged me back to the GP. So I was like, cool, okay. So I'm still waiting for the neurology appointment. So following the mini stroke, I was referred to a neurologist. So I got about another 5 months wait on that. I think I rang them up about a month ago, and they said it was a 6-month wait. So it's about a 5-month wait now for that. So went back to my GP, and they were sort of like, well, we still need to get your blood pressure down. You know, it's not safe for you to have really high blood pressure for a year while waiting for the neurology. So we tried this one, this new medication. I was like, okay, so yeah, we came off the other one because the other one wasn't really helping, and we're trying out this one. And this one is a calcium channel blocker, which from the vague description I could gather, it works to kind of open up your veins and kind of your arteries and your capillaries and open them all up so that the blood can pass through easier. Which as someone that has EDS, that seemed very counterintuitive, because that's literally the problem I have, and that's what triggered my POTS and my passing out, was that my blood was pooling in my veins because my veins had no structure to them. So as the blood was being pumped out, the veins would just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they wouldn't pump that blood back up to my heart. So I was like, okay, well, we'll give it a go. Like, you know, I mean, I'll see if it helps bring the blood pressure down. That would be a good thing, so we'll give that a go. So the first time I took it, I almost called the hospital. I was really ill, really bad. But okay, I thought, well, let's try again. Maybe it was just the first, you know, me getting used to the first dose. I'll take it again this morning, then I'm going to ring the doctors. So I took it again, and I didn't feel quite as bad, but I still felt, you know, rough. So I called the doctors, and they said to speak to the pharmacy, because they can go through the symptoms you're experiencing and tell you whether that's a normal side effect or whatever. So I'm like, okay, so I spoke to the pharmacy, and he was like, and I sort of explained it all to him, and he was like, oh yeah, that's a hot flush, that's a common symptom with this. If it gets worse, ring back. So I'm like, okay, I'm fine. My mum's been going through the menopause for you know, a couple of years, and she has hot flushes. So I was like, Mum, is this what a hot flush is? And I explained it all, and she's like, not really. She's like, yeah, like some of that. And I'm like, oh cool, well I have that, and then it lasts for like 6 or 7 hours. And she's like, yeah, no, like this, like, she's hot flush lasts like 5-10 minutes, sometimes a bit less, sometimes a bit more, just a bit like, then it just goes away. And I'm like, oh cool, yeah, mine does not. So I spoke to the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, it takes a few weeks to get into your system, so give it a couple of weeks and we'll see what happens. So okay. So I was still getting the hot flushes, which basically felt like some, you know, when you've been in the sun too long and you're sunburnt, and then the day after you get sunburnt and it starts to peel and it starts to get really tight on your skin, and really dry and burny. Yeah, so I had that all over my face, my hands, my feet, my sort of inside of my knees, so like this part of my thighs and my arms. And I would have that for about 6 or 7 hours after taking the dose. And I had 2 doses a day, so I had that for like the majority of the day. I was getting ice out the freezer, like ice packs, to put against my face, and they would last about 10 minutes before they were like warm and having to go back in the freezer. That's how hot I was. I had about a 2.5 to 3 degree increase in my body temperature. So I was like checking my temperature with the thermometer. And yeah, my body temperature increased by about 2.5 to 3 degrees. So this doesn't really seem normal. So, and then with that, because the medication causes your veins to expand, I was having a lot of blood pooling. So even the fact that if I just have my arms down, my blood would pool in my hands, and I would have to like put my hands up like this to let the blood come back into the rest of me. And then the same with my legs. So I was having to go and lie down and put my legs up, because I was getting really dizzy and woozy, and sort of I get a lot of pre-syncope symptoms, which are basically the symptoms you get before you pass out. So I was like, oh cool, I'm going to pass out, I have to lie down. And, you know, I get a couple of minutes notice before I'm going to pass out, so I can find somewhere to lay down. Because if I don't, then I do pass out. And then if I don't find somewhere to lay down, my brain, like my body finds somewhere to lie down for me, and I just drop. So, you know, I was having to go lie down. And I was, you know, at one stage I spent the best part of 3 days in bed in a row that week. I just couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't get up without dropping to the floor. So I was like, this isn't right. And then I was taking my blood pressure. My blood pressure was still the same. Like it hadn't even come down any. So I'm like, what even is this? Like, why am I? So the doctor was like, no, it hasn't been 2 weeks yet. Fine, it hasn't been 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, I'll take it for 2 weeks. So kept doing it, kept taking my blood pressure. My blood pressure did start to drop, but like not for long. So for about an hour after I took the medication, my blood pressure would drop quite low. So a normal blood pressure is about 120/80. Mine was dropping sort of, sometimes only one side would drop. So I'd take my blood pressure and it'd be like 120/40 or sort of 90/80, you know, so which is even worse sometimes, sort of thing. So I sort of had 90/50, 120/50, those sort of things. And then after about an hour, it would go back up to 150/110, which is where it has been since Halloween. So I finished the 2 weeks and spoke to the doctor, and he was like, yeah, this is that's not supposed to do that. So this was a different doctor. So I spoke to him and he's like, yeah, it's not supposed to do that. I'm like, no, I didn't think so. So he said, we'll try dropping down to just sort of half the dose. So just at half the dose in the morning, half at night instead of a full amount, and see if that helps you sort of with the symptoms you're getting. So the syncope, the pre-syncope, and the heat, the temperature increase, and sort of hopefully then it will give it a bit longer to get into your system, and your blood pressure might start to stabilise a bit. He says, because if this doesn't help, I don't know what to do. Like, basically, if you came to me with high blood pressure, we would try A, B, C and D, and we're now on D, and I don't really know what to do after that. So my next step would be to refer you to cardiology. So we sort of had the discussion of, well, that's where I've been. And he says, well, I don't know what else to do, sort of things. So he's going to try and refer me to a different cardiologist. But he says, well, give this a go. Give it, you know, 2 or 3 weeks. Another sort of 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And we'll see, you know, what happens is because, yeah, ultimately, if I then did refer you to someone else, you're still going to have to wait to see them. So, you know, he says, we'll see how you get on for a couple of weeks, and then we'll try again. He says, but I don't want you taking your blood pressure at all for a whole week, to try and let it settle in to your system, and so that you're not worrying about your blood pressure either. So he says, don't take your blood pressure at all, and then after a week, start again and start monitoring it, and we'll see how you get on. But yeah, so that's where I'm. So the last 2 weeks of sort of May, most of that was me in bed. So I didn't stitch, didn't knit, couldn't read a book, you know. But yes, that's why I didn't get any stitching done. That's why I didn't get anything done. I think I even ended up posting my last video from I think I was in bed when I finished sort of posting the my anniversary one, because I had planned to post it on holiday, but the I was on like a restricted Wi-Fi, so I couldn't post it. So I had to wait till I came home, and then I think I got home, was like in bed, like, okay, I'll post it now. Because I started the medication basically the day that I came home, because I didn't want to start it the day I went away, which was when the medication came through. I don't want to start it and then go straight away on holiday, because, you know, if I have any sort of side effects, I don't want to be ill while I'm away. So I waited till the day I got home and then took them. We'll see what happens. So I think I've still got until sort of the Wednesday, Thursday this week. I think that'll be a week, and then I can now, when did I ring? Oh gosh, I wrote it down. So I wrote down when I rang, so I knew when my 2 weeks was going to be up. So that I write it down so that I don't have to remember. That's why I can never remember these things. So I think I'll write it down and then I don't have to think about it. So thank you for watching, if indeed you still are, and I will see you at the end of June. So we'll have a quick sort of like 6 month recap. I'll go through sort of some numbers, some figures of where I am, and obviously what I've got left to do for the end of the year. But yes, so that's what I'll be doing at end of the month. I don't think I've got anything else planned for the end of, for the rest of June. So it's just going to be some stitching. Hopefully I can get through all of my goals this month and catch up on a little bit from last month. Obviously we will see where we end up as we get going. But yes, so thank you very much, and I love you lots, and I will see you soon.